and Shelley.
Ready.
Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our real life studio on the foreshore of Hermanus. Mark Kavanagh and his wife Shelley are going to present us this morning on manufacturing diamond jewelry and the challenges they face. And I think everyone's well aware in this country, government has tried, and we hear lots about it, about beneficiating local products. It hasn't been too successful, sadly, for a lot of reasons, including too much red tape, but Mark and Shelley actually do that very successfully. They're a third generation family. Mark and Shelley met at school at Fairmont High in Durbanville, and I guess the rest is history. Anyway, we look forward to your talk, Mark, with Shelley's inputs, and good luck. Off you go.
Thanks, you. Thanks, John. Thanks.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. So, yeah, another lovely-ish day from Hermanus. So, at least it's not raining at the moment, but we're really happy we had a lot of the rain of late. But, yeah, we live in a beautiful town here in Hermanus in the Overberg, where I think a lot of your members live and work. As John said, we're a third-generation family jeweler, and we've, through all the generations, done most parts of the final aspects of jewelry. We initially started with my grandfather in Rhodesia. He had a partnership with a company called K's Jewelers, where they manufactured and sold jewelry to the trade and to the public. They had quite a few foreign skilled workers, diamond cutters in the factory, and it was a very successful business. Due to the war there, my father had to relocate afterwards my father had to relocate and felt it better to relocate to South Africa, where he concentrated on diamond dealing and worked for a company in Natal called Monix Diamonds. And we schooled there and finished up my schooling in Cape Town, where I met Shelley. So, yeah, well, on relocation to Cape Town, where Kavanagh Diamonds was established.
Sorry, the
Okay. Yeah. So Kavanagh Diamonds was established in Tiger Valley Centre as a retail jewelry store, and that's where my journey really began in the business. Thoroughly enjoyed working there on weekends after school. And through my technical drawing, I designed jewelry pieces for ladies, engagement rings, anniversary pieces. And yeah, they were still in the heydays where it was a lot of gold, a little bit of platinum, biggish diamonds. So it's the early 90s, Yeah, and I developed a passion for that, and mainly the design, and then wanted to go into the manufacturing. So after getting that introduction to the jewelry, I did my in-house training with a jewelry manufacturing company. We did work for my father, a Polish designer goldsmith, and it took me about 3 years of the basics, and then stone setting, and a little bit of model work, model making, and wax molding, that sort of stuff. To get me on my feet, and yeah, the rest is history after that. I joined, my wife and I got married, and we went over to Mauritius, where we helped to teach some local aspiring manufacturing goldsmiths to better their techniques in manufacturing, especially for Western design jewelry. And that was where my wife and I, Shelley, we first got into our own little jewelry boutique. We started actually dealing with tourists. And that was our introduction. And we really enjoyed it. We did very well for starters, not massive. We went into massive brands. We were very small niche manufacturing our style of jewelry. And we then decided that we felt it was better for us and our two small children to be back in South Africa for education purposes and family and lifestyle and all of that. And Hermanus was always our ideal from Cape Town. So we thought we'll give it a shot, and we set up this shop in Hermanus in 2010, and we've had a really good run of it up to now, up to COVID. And yeah, I think it's our principles and focusing on niche markets and hand manufacturing, trying to be as individualistic as we can, while still copying the trends out there. It's it stood us in good stead, and we try and keep our business as lean as we can. It's always been that way, not because of COVID, but I think now more than ever, it's very important to do that. But having said that, we would like to grow our business and grow, and employ people, a few more people in the future, to have some time off. But it's a lovely lifestyle that we have here in Hermanus. We enjoy the safety aspect. Our children are, 5 minutes away. Home's basically 5 minutes. Everything's about 5 minutes away. So no, we really love it, and we've thrived here. And yeah, it's been fantastic. So Shelley worked as a personal assistant to Graham Power for many years, from Power Construction.
So that's where I've learned my admin skills, thank goodness.
Yes.
So Mark does the manufacturing side of the business and the quoting, and then I'll do the sales and the admin. I've taught myself Sage as I've gone through Sage Pastel. So I love it. You know exactly what's happening in the books, and doing the ordering and sales. It's great dealing with all the tourists and people, different people as they come into the shop. Every year you get a message to say, we're on our way. Are the whales there? What's the weather like? And these are the dates we're here. So it's always something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, we specialize in, like we said, gold and platinum manufacturing and silver casting. And then we bring in our own range of manufactured silver jewelry from Italy. As we say, see the next slide on sourcing of materials. In our early years, and obviously from my father's times to our times, we really did source, 90% of all our raw materials and even manufactured products from locally sourced in South Africa, companies. And all the precious metals, diamonds, our colored stones, bolt rings and clasps, collets, specialized collets for different shaped stones, all that sort of thing. And it's just through the years, it's gradually, not just the quality, but the styles and, everything has just become a bit less. And so now, unfortunately, a lot of those pieces, we obviously buy our unwrought metal still from a company in Cape Town called Cape Precious Metals. But we get some basic clasps, small tubing, that sort of thing. But today, more than ever before, you really have to manufacture everything yourself or bring it in from overseas if you want to be specialized in any way. Even down to, tools. You get the basic tools here, but it's not the really specialist stuff in setting and casting that you can 3D. There are guys supplying 3D printers here now, but just in basically every aspect, overseas is just so much bigger. So we've, had to turn to overseas suppliers for our silver, gold, and even diamonds from overseas. So yeah, unfortunately now I would say we're probably at about 70% at least, of our stocks and materials are sourced from overseas. And it's obviously been due to a lot of red tape starting from the source, from the mining industry, obviously, right through to our retail sector. We're right at the end of the line, but even there, there's black empowerment equity programs where they try to get you to employ. But the thing is, if you didn't, support certain companies, you couldn't get a deal. And it's just made it very difficult. So a lot of the time, I think people have just said, well, we'll rather pay a certain tax and buy it from or import duty and you get it from overseas. It's perfect. It's finished. You're in business. It's just a long-winded way about going and doing things nowadays in South Africa. So yeah, to stay competitive, we've adjusted this way, and it's kept us in business. Obviously, I don't think we can run much leaner than we have also. But between those two factors, we in business, we've done well through these past few years where, I know a lot of other businesses were struggling in any case before COVID, but we were doing very well. And yeah, we focus mainly on putting out a beautiful product of good quality at a very good price and giving our clients, good service and having a one-on-one relationship with them. So these are examples of some of our manufactured pieces. If Shelley wants to say a bit about the silver jewelry.
We'll get to the silver.
We'll get to silver. So like a piece on the left here, it's a pear-shaped diamond set in 18-karat white gold with round brilliant cut diamonds around it. It's about a 0.60 carat. And yeah, so it was a hand manufactured piece. These are basically all hand manufactured pieces that we've made here, all in-house. Like I say, I do most of my own setting, other than the tiny little pave stones that I have specially set with microscope. This is a trilogy engagement style ring, or eternity.
You want to whisper some prices as you go along?
Yeah. So the first one, the pear-shaped diamond ring, with a 0.60 carats. I think it was a color K. Color K. That one went for about just under 30,000 rand.
It's a GIA certified stone.
Yeah, GIA certified stone. We do most of our big stones certified with GIA just because the public have the public have been educated that way. So when they come in, generally they're asking for a GIA certificate. I think it's quite a bad thing for other certifying laboratories. I don't know how that ball started rolling that way, but in any case, you try to stock as many of those certificates as possible, because they do seem to be the leaders in technology when it comes to picking up between synthetic diamonds and real diamonds and other fake gemstones and processes of cleaning up colored stones, and making them better. Basically all the center stones, and those three are GIA certified. And a lot of the time when you do send a stone into the GIA, it's a bit more expensive for certification. So you don't want to send in a stone that's poorly made. So most of the time you're getting a triple excellent cut, or at least, one very good and the rest excellent.
The totals, what was that?
The trilogy was a carat in total weight, 2 25 pointers either side and a half carat in the middle. That one was set in platinum. So
this was made for a client that came into Hermanus, and the husband had upgraded his mountain bike, and she said it's time for an upgrade for her ring. And we had a pair of earrings in the window, and we had a center stone loose. So she looked at all three of them and said, that's it. She wants it made. And I think Mark had less than 24 hours to get it finished and ready, and they came and collected and went back overseas. So this is where our business, Mark being a manufacturing jeweler, is able to manufacture and change something usually within 24 hours if it's something you can do. From sizing a bangle, sometimes the clients love it, but it's a bit too small or needs to be adjusted.
And the stones can come loose, so luckily I can reset, and retighten claws if need be. So it's all those sort of things that have come in very handy, especially in today's business environment where you don't have thousands of people coming past, thousands of buying clients at least coming past every day, where you can do no wrong. It is quite tough out there. So when you get a chance to make a deal or something to change, you take it, and then hopefully you can do the job. So a lot of the time it's amazing how you think, I'll never get this done, but you just manage to get it done on time, and it's really wonderful. And then also the nice aspects about obviously working in a beautiful place like Hermanus, and in summertime, you know, the tourists all come from November through to February, so that's our busy time of year. You know, you get their response to it, and their joy and their happiness, and you get hundreds of thank yous. So it's, you know, it's not like a job where you're sitting in an office and nobody's ever grateful to you or saying thank you. You get that a lot, which is a big part in the business. So we do enjoy it, and the social aspect with the clients. It's a big thing. So going on to like the next piece there, that was also half a carat diamond solitaire. They generally retail for, you know, in our shop for about like say 25,000, just depending on what metal the ring's made of. And then obviously upwards if you're going for very high color and clarity.
And the previous one was 100,000 for the 225s. It was 100 on the dot, including the VAT.
Yeah, that was very high quality diamonds. You know, very high on the color scale. I think they're all
eyes.
Yeah,
they were all eyes.
Higher than that. Yeah, and platinum. Yeah, and the next is a pair of 9-carat rose gold hoop earrings for a client's design, especially manufactured to her specifications. We get a lot of that also, where clients they know that we especially make up to order, and they'll send through specific, you know, diameter of the hoops and the drops and for their ear size. So we've been known to be that sort of jeweler that'll make exactly what you're wanting, you know, and then obviously hopefully fitting into their price.
And then the tanzanite pendants. Tanzanite's been very popular, especially with the Chinese and all the overseas people, because it's something different. It's bright, cheaper than the diamond, very precious. And over the years, we've noticed that the color, you're not getting as high a color as you used to. So we have to be very fussy from who we buy, because it's that really bright, beautiful blue that's wanted, not the very light color.
Yeah, so definitely not the light.
Could you do me a big favor?
Yeah.
Could you fetch my ear for me? I can't hear this very well.
What?
Yeah, so yeah, on the tanzanite, we try and focus on the very high quality, good colors, you know. Then, yeah, going down, that's we call it like a boodle style ring, scatter 18-carat diamond ring.
Tube set.
Tube set, because the company in the UK, Boodles, I think they started doing this. It's effectively just a scatter diamond ring, a mix match of different sizes of stones. So like Shelley always tells the ladies, it's a wonderful design for if you've got different stones or colored stones even left over from different jewelry pieces that you don't use anymore. You can put them together in a single piece, either a pendant or a ring like that. And it really looks stunning once it's finished. You know, the picture doesn't actually do it justice. Then next to that are diamond bangles. We find we do really well in season with the diamond bangles, because a lot of other jewelers focus mainly on tennis bracelets and diamond bracelets, where it's got links in between each stone, whereas these don't have any links. They're rigid. And so it ends up being, so it ends up being a lot stronger and sturdier for everyday wear. So now you can wear your diamond piece every day.
And it doesn't stretch.
Yeah, and you only need stones on the top half or third of the piece, so you cut back on the price and setting. So it ends up quite a good idea for people who are wanting something precious around their wrists. Yeah.
And the next one is a friend of mine from Pringle Bay who's relocated, but she had a whole lot of different jewels that she wasn't wearing. So we made up the ring with all the birthstones of the kids and the husbands, and the other earrings Mark made up. And then, it was a beautiful piece now that she can wear it, when before she didn't want to wear it at all. She just said it was old-fashioned. So it's just arrived in Canada, and she is very happy.
Yeah, look at the next slide.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, look at the next slide is about
sterling silver.
Italian sterling silver jewelry. So this is jewelry that we've sourced now for the past we've been focusing a lot on the silver jewelry for about 12 years, 13 years. We started We actually started doing this in Mauritius. I dealt with just 1 or 2 smaller factories who've now grown in size because of the gold jewelry shrinking. Obviously, the gold manufacturing jewelry shrinking, and some of these big Italian factories are now manufacturing in silver because of the price. So they've got the designers, they've got the equipment and machinery, but they're losing out to China. So they now specialize in making their own new unique designs in silver, while still following international trends. And I used to go to trade shows, mainly in Vicenza and Arezzo in Italy before, where we found some of these companies. And it's a wonderful place to go and visit and do business. It's a bit tiring sometimes because you're on your feet the whole day, and dealing with.
But they are happy to give you coffees.
Yes, lots of coffees to keep you
and to keep you motivated.
Keep you stimulated and motivated, yeah. But their passion for jewelry and their people, their food, shoes, everything, it just shines through, and you do get caught up in that wave. And I think through this whole COVID, they'll still be fine. They've weathered it and competing against the Chinese like every other industry. So I've really enjoyed going there, and I do find it stimulating. Like I was saying a bit before, I don't know if we'll go this year. Might be a bit of a push, but hopefully from next year we can resume that. I think this year will be down to ordering some of the new ranges, via WhatsApp and all these other social platforms. But yeah, like you can see on the picture here, it's really beautiful, colorful designs.
I've just got some out of the window, how we display them in the shop window.
Different colors of silver. So it's sterling silver that's been rose gold plated or yellow gold plated, or the plain silver. So it looks just like what used to be the 18 karat gold piece is now manufactured in silver to the same qualities. So ladies can adorn that piece and have multiple pieces now. Quite a few multiple pieces for the same price as if it was in gold. So we're
finding that the customers from Joburg especially do not want anything that looks like more the yellow gold, and anything that looks like diamonds they will not wear. So when they come into the shop now, they want the bright colored stones. They want everything that it must look bright, and it mustn't look like diamonds and gold, unfortunately.
So beautiful jewelry, but it must look like it's not costume jewelry, but it must look beautiful, but it mustn't be imitating diamonds and gold in any way. So we found that when we buy, it's got to, those are the parameters we try to stick between especially for the silver. And where we found maybe sort of the larger retailers here in South Africa just using gold jewelry. So they just stick to basically the same ranges that they make in diamond and gold. They make the same range in silver. But our clients that we've found have said, no, we're actually looking for something that doesn't look like you're going to be robbed for it. So that's the thing. And at least people, I think, especially in South Africa, they have started embracing these different styles and colors, and women aren't afraid to try different. On there, it's the Italian connection. Italy is the heart of the international gold jewelry business. I think still from a term of design and manufacturing styles, they are. Although, like, India and China are much bigger markets now. So people, unfortunately, do go to where manufacturing is at a cheaper labor rate. But you do find that the Chinese and Indians and all these, they still copy the Italians when it comes to design. So what I love is that when I go and I see all these new styles, I know that a lot of these things have never been done before, and you're ahead of the market. So at least if you're ahead for a year or two, it's good, and then you change your styles. The Italian family brands, they've got some of the biggest brands in the world in jewelry, from their manufacturing machinery to basically everything other than the raw materials, which, come from a lot from Africa. yeah, but it's just their passion and their desire and everything.
Very family based. So the companies that we buy from, the father runs it. He's got all his daughters working for him. The grandchildren are there from little. They've been brought in their carry bags from, tiny baby. And they treat you like family. So Mark and I were treated the last time I went to Italy with Mark, probably about 5 years ago. They took us out for a dinner with their family, and you just learn so much. It's very special. And you'll get WhatsApps during COVID to ask how the family is, how they are. So it's the bond that you make over the years with these people. We've got a place that we buy some unfinished, well, it's your gold that you buy.
Yes, yeah.
So
it's semi, what do you call it? So it's finished gold piece, but you have to set the stones.
Like the bangles.
You have to set your own stones, whatever stones you choose to set in there. We deal with them. They, very, very special people. And the thing is, you find that they commit to a choice in business, they commit. That's them for life. They don't change from working from one company this year to the next year at another company. They'll stay in that company. I've been going for now for over 20 years, and it's the same staff in a lot of these factories, and it's incredible. And they're very loyal, and to them it's 100%. They don't feel like you have to keep going at a higher level and become the owner one day. They're very happy being what they are and where they are, living where they are. So I think that's the thing. And then just focusing more on their passion and every day, making every day a great day.
From their clothing to, very inspiring seeing the way that they dress with the jewelry, because sometimes I wouldn't have thought you could dress in that way and wear accessories like that. And they've just got a special way of dressing it up. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's it. So that's where the silver comes from. In the changing industry, so the jewelry business is undergoing a progressive change from the synthetic diamonds and gemstones and the fakes in branded jewelry. It's quite a difficult thing to keep up, the people, and to make your clients positive in what they're buying. It's well worth the buy. A lot of the time people will say, well, why don't I just buy a cubic zirconia fake ring? How's anybody going to know the difference? So it becomes quite an ordeal every time. You've got to explain what goes into it, the labor from, I don't even start on the mining aspect, which is a world on its own. It's a massive world. It's just our small part that we've got to play. And then people come around, they understand, and they say, okay, so it's been made beautifully, and it is with love, and it's going to last so many years. Diamond. It's not a blood diamond. People have tried to do their best in it, and that's what you're buying, compared to something that's just been churned out in a couple of minutes, and have made 20,000 of the same piece. So it is becoming difficult to, show people the value in it. I think when people do age, they do then start looking at buying quality instead of quantity. But certainly for the youth at the moment, they do tend to like just something instantly. If it's cheap, looks okay, they want to buy it.
The millennials.
So that is the only thing I think with certainly for a lot of jewelry stores who used to rely on engagement rings, especially as your big money maker. We used to be that back in Tiger Valley. Engagement rings were the majority of our business. Now it's a very small part. It's now the fashion jewelry and eternity rings and remodeling of older jewelry into more modern designs, inherited or whatever. So that's it. And then certification, obviously, like we were discussing earlier about the GIA, Gemological Institute of America. It's becoming very important for larger diamonds because of that fact.
With the inscription number as well. The clients like that number. With
a laser inscription number on the side, for them to be able to verify that it is the same diamond that you sold as what's published on the certificate. So yeah, we find that's basically it. It's like sometimes you feel like it's two different worlds. The expensive, genuine one, it's not an untrusting world, but you really have to go through the whole sale compared to how people used to be 20 years ago. They would just go in and, oh, it's a lovely diamond, it sparkles, beautiful, oh, I'll buy it. Today, they want to know what's gone on. And then you've got the cheap silver, that people don't really fuss. They just want to buy it because it looks beautiful and there's nothing much to it. So yeah, we'll have a look at the next one. So local policy impacts and challenges. So we like we said, we're a specialized niche market, artistical family jewelry store in Hermanus. We've got a lot of goodwill, which will hopefully take us through the next couple of years, these tough years, where clients come to us, specifically they make a beeline straight to our store when they're flying into South Africa. They've always loved dealing with us, and our Johannesburg clients and Cape Town clients. So yeah, we like I say, we manufacture and try to do most things here to make it that unique experience. And I think people also like to come in and see while the piece is being made, the different stages of the manufacturing process. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they do like to see that. And then they, like an artist painting or a piece of artwork, just to see the different stages, and then it gives them their story. Or even if I take pictures or screenshots of it. So yeah, that's our secret.
We've stopped the second-hand gold buying in at the moment. We just found over the last year especially, the types of people to come in to the shop and try and sell gold and diamonds. You just know it's stolen, so you don't want to promote it and purchase, where a lot of the other places in Hermanus and other businesses do.
Yeah.
So we actually had them around here last week and chatting to us, and we said, no, we'd rather not. It's also the safety of your business with people selling to you,
Yeah, once you get known that you're buying in gold, secondhand gold or something, that's all fine if it was back in the day when people wanted to upgrade, put a deposit down on a car for a child or something like that, but today, unfortunately, like people who have gold, they don't really sell it. It's the bad people who've stolen the gold who've got the gold. And now the thing is, if you've got a word for buying from these type of people, it's your business just going to have a downward spiral. So we rather stay out of that business altogether, and we don't do that. We're only taking clients' gold if they want to remodel it into another piece of jewelry or upgrade. So yeah, and then to the last slide here, local value chain opportunities. Obviously, South Africa and Southern Africa has got such a wealth in minerals, I think still, and has had. It just basically comes down to the red tape that we've got, and our practices and stuff that we don't do everything completely in-house in South Africa, from the sourcing, starting the mine to the finished product on the client's finger. It could be employing so many more people and wealth being shared, just in this business, the jewelry business, like it used to. And I don't think it ever really was at its full extent that it could have been. We were kind of just there. If we had some of the Italian factories, sizes, just in South Africa, manufacturing and different aspects, watches and everything, it could have really been a massive industry. Unfortunately now, our jewelry stores are very few and small compared to overseas. And most of our products are even sourced from overseas, yet the raw materials come from here. Yeah. So there's that massive gap in the middle that the rest of the world fills and has taken, where sadly, I think in South Africa, this is what's happened. So yeah, poor policy and red tape is on it. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, and concluding, yeah. So you can see how our business in the early years was more about gold and diamonds and locally sourced products, and now it's changed to still a small bit of diamonds and gold, but more majority is silver jewelry and remodeling of older diamond gold jewelry. And we source it from overseas. So that's how we've changed. And I think with COVID now, we've had to market online. Shelley's done with
Facebook
Instagram.
and Instagram. We had a website, but it's very difficult to sell online with the silver and with the gold. I can always have pictures and people can ask for prices and we can either get for them or make up. But we can't keep 5 to 10 pieces per item. Stock value would be huge, and people want to come into the shop here and see a whole lot of different pieces. So it's a bit difficult doing an online shop, but from WhatsApp and from Instagram and Facebook, we have definitely made sales from them seeing a picture and asking for prices, and then I courier to them. So that does help, especially to the Joburg clients, because Joburg doesn't have anything similar. So that's been great.
Yeah. I think if you invest all your time and money into online sales, you need to really dedicate yourself to that and have enough staff for that business. If you shortfall on the service, like in our business, then it's not going to work. If people aren't receiving their goods on time perfectly and you've got all the stock in stock, I think that's the trick with that sort of business. So we're not there yet where I want to commit to online sales and then leave the retail sector, operating from a storefront at least. But that's something we'll just have to see in the future. We have got, like I say, a lot of goodwill, and I'm very sure we can get our brand out there and grow that business. But for now, this does demand all of our time, and thank goodness still, even through this period, we've been very busy with a lot of manufacturing and then some silver sales, which is normal for this time of year. This time of year we don't get any foreign tourists and very little Johannesburg people coming to Hermanus. So it's just a question now from November onwards, if we go back to stage 1 or something, that the planes can start flying and opening borders, and even interprovincial becomes more, a lot more travel, not just for business, for pleasure. Then I'm sure things will start getting back towards where they were.
And the whales are here.
About it.
The whales are here, so people are definitely coming to Hermanus for weekends from Cape Town. Yeah. So it has been positive. The parking has been busier, and they're doing not roadworks, they're doing sewerage works at the moment. So hopefully within the next 2 months that'll all be finished as well. And then Hermanus is a perfect place for a location.
Upgraded, and it's
very excited.
Very good. But that's thanks for listening in our bit of a chat about our business and what we do and specialize in. That's a little map of Europe there with all the beautiful goings on now. I've definitely had a lot of perks out of being in the jewelry business, and it's wonderful. I do enjoy it, and we hope to be involved in this retail sector, dealing with people like we said. And I do enjoy that. I don't think I would survive as well being cooped up in a tiny little cubicle somewhere or work desk only, focusing. I do like the freedom that we've got. So it's been very good to us, and we enjoy our time here. Yeah, thanks. If you've got any questions.
Thanks, Mark and Shelley. That was excellent, and I hope you're getting a kickback there from the Tourism Association in Hermanus for all your good marketing.
Can you hear me there, Shelley and Mark?
just to keep in mind, special anniversary, something, people, a lot of the time we've found, especially in COVID, I think I didn't expect any. And straight afterwards, people were coming out and said, I cleaned out my drawer, I never do. And I found the granny. I'm sure the woodworking guys will do the same thing with old tables and chairs, and can you fix this up and recover and replaster or whatever. So certainly some of our builder friends in the town, they seem to be a bit more on the up. So I don't think it's the doom and doom like everybody was thinking.
No, that's the good side of it. It hasn't been that bad. It's been just a bit frustrating. Henny, are you there? Are you going to open up everyone?
Yeah, I actually dropped off. If you can hear me, Mark, can you guys hear me?
Our manager.
Well, I think everybody got our details. I'm sure they'll keep. Do you keep cards at all? Yeah.
Yes. No, it'll actually go onto YouTube, and we'll distribute the presentation. So certainly people will have your details.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mark?
Peter van der Spey, I have a question for Shelley and Mike.
Go for it, Peter. Morning.
Good morning. Shelley and Mike, it's a double-edged question. The first part is the people within the administration, within government. Do you believe that they have an awareness of the reasons as to why the local beneficiation structure, in other words, let's call it the paperwork, the bureaucracy, is there an awareness? And the second half of the question is, how do you two feel about the prospects of actually achieving a change within the administration that would bring about what the objective is for an increased degree of local beneficiation, but in a fashion that recognizes the challenges, particularly as Mike, you were alluding to the economies of scale. If you look at the supply line from Italy, for example, that's a question. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there are, for sure. Every time, every year they come around to us from the Diamond, the Precious Metals Board to check on what we're doing here. And a lot of the time it's just a chat. It's not like it used to be back in the day where they used to check your 18 karat, your 9 karat, your rose gold, and assay it and check that you were selling, the right caratage gold and that. Now it's more of a relaxed sort of chat thing, but they certainly do get a lashing from most of the jewelers. We always ask, especially the lady who comes around and visits us, and we say, like, you've got these rules in place and we'd love to employ, but how? Our business has to grow. We feel so restricted. And I tell you, openly, honestly, I've showed her the pieces like I've shown you. I'm having to import. Look at this beautifully made, manufactured pieces, but they've got the money and government is open. They'll give anybody a license to sell. But yes, they will come around and inspect you to make sure that what you're selling is correct. That's for sure. But they're going to be so overly strict on giving you a license to get you going in business.
It took us over a year to get the license for the gold permit. From having to renew your 3-month police clearance because it went missing on their side, and what you had to do and give them, it's almost impossible if you're a small business, because we work with tourists and people want to claim back the VAT. For us, we need to be, and for Mark to manufacture.
Yeah.
But for small jewelers living in small places, you can almost understand why they want to buy in gold secondhand and melt it down and remake, because it's so difficult for them to
do it the proper way,
to do it correctly.
That's the thing. It's actually so much easier to go to these shops or wherever, and you can buy a platinum ring, gold ring, below cost, below price, and melt it down, and it's nobody's business. So it does become difficult, and as such, they are also aware that they've lost a lot of license holders.
A lot of closed down.
A lot of closed down, obviously bad business, and for other reasons, not interested in doing this anymore. So basically, yes, they are aware of it. She keeps saying, you know, what do we need to do? And I even suggested, I said, well, something like if you're a license holder, you know, can we not buy gold at gold less, a certain percentage? And you've got to base it on how much gold you've used per annum. So you can't just suddenly come and buy 10 kilos of gold, you know, because you know that that guy's just going to go and sell it for a profit, you know. But if you've only used 200 grams a month or 100 grams or 300 grams a month, you know, you're entitled to buying that much gold at a discounted price to make you more competitive in the marketplace. Just somehow get it that, you know, it's not 90-something% of the gold, 99% probably, I reckon, being exported. You know, it's only 90% then. So you're helping somewhere, and that'll certainly help stimulate, you know, people getting out there and manufacturing just in plain gold pieces, even if it's like very basic labor. But you're creating something, because it really is. It boggles your mind when you're actually at these overseas trade shows and you see what's been manufactured and the money involved. My word, you know, and you think, geez, this is just the work part. That's all. But, you know, South Africa was always world renowned, from car designers. I remember Gordon Murray went to my old school in Glenwood and Natal. You know, he was a designer for McLaren Formula One cars. And we've had like such fantastic engineers in South Africa. So there's no reason why we can't produce, you know, even if you're buying the machinery from Italy or Germany, that's fine, you know, but just doing the skilled labor here and having people actually flying into South Africa to buy and sell and get connected with us because of what we can do. You know, it just does seem strange. I just battle to believe that if these stones were under the ground in Italy and being mined there, or Germany, that they wouldn't have a manufacturing trade. I don't think that would be the case. I think their manufacturing trade would be 3 times the size that it is now.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, Mark, to come in, I mean, that's the critical point, you know, that countries like Italy, you know, make the best. They're very strong, you know, manufacturing and servicing and service industries. Yes. And, you know, they have the trained people, and also the wages and the productivity sort of are sensible, you know, and I think, Peter, you've raised a couple of very important questions that we're also going to get to in sort of the next month or two, in terms of, you know, developing and implementing policy that, you know, supports small business. Yes. And the points that you raised, Peter, applied, you know, just the same to our small diamond miners. I mean, you'll be aware we have these fantastic alluvial diamonds in the Northwest and Vaal and Orange River. And you know, we're in the process of shutting down, you know, those small entrepreneurial operators because of, again, you know, really awful policy.
How do we get more public awareness of the situation, so that we as the public, what can we do, in your opinion, to bring about a bit more pressure? Shouldn't we start participating?
Well, the problem is, it's always like you being antagonistic towards the government, you know. So you know, we try as much as we can with our 1-hour little sessions with her when she comes, to be practical. When we say, like, look at this, you know, I mean, I can supply to you guys even. I say, but this piece should be made in South Africa. You know, we've got the people for sure. Our labor is extremely cheap still, you know, worldwide. It's just, you've got to open it up and promote it and say, like, well, you know, I suppose it is difficult. I don't know how much money is in the government now. You can't just, you know, ask them and say, well, buy so many tons of gold and, you know, distribute it around the place so that we can employ people. And I've got no problem with, you know, training up guys to manufacture and do even basic pieces that they can make into chains and bracelets. You know, like if you look at a lot of the jewelry that they sell in Dubai and India, where they sell kilos of this stuff. I mean, it's awful. It's archaic manufacturing processes, but they sell so much of it, you know, because at the end of the day, the people are buying the gold. So they're saying, well, great, it's gold plus a certain percentage, and it looks like a beautiful piece, they'll buy it. So,
yeah.
yeah.
To come in there again, Mark, I mean, you made an important point. You know, you've just said you would happily, you know, train and employ people.
Yeah.
Okay, but you see that the flip side of that, and we all believe in transformation. That's what you're talking about. So we need to create jobs.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is when you enforce that you've got to give away 26% of your business.
Yeah.
You know, in a structure like that, you know, little businesses like yours and the small diamond miners and in fact, many big businesses cannot sustain, you know, those 26% deals. So instead of coming to you, and Peter might have inputs and saying, okay, you know, we'll give you a tax break or, you know, some sort of incentive to take 3 or 4, you know, potential trainees and go to the trouble of, you know, helping to educate them and, you know, get them into the business.
Yes, but then also the government, but then also, you know, the government to, we've tried in Hermanus, but for the government to actually promote South Africa, you know, I mean, like if you just look at, I don't know if you guys follow the cycling at all, the Tour de France. Now, you know, you see how that daily, if you just look at the highlights, not even the live show, if you see how they promote France, and a lot of the time they're looking at the cyclists, but they're jumping off to this place and that church and this cathedral and this little town does, you know, famous for that. But just something like that where they would promote and say, wow, come to South Africa, the land of gold and diamonds and precious stones, anything you can think of, and, you know, boundless, you know, energy and good labor. And, you know, just you could, if you start promoting it that way and doing that sort of thing, instead of just always looking at cutting back and restricting and, I don't know, you just get that sort of feeling. So,
no, we're all on the same page.
Approach.
I sense your passion and your frustration. So, any other questions, Peter? Have you got anything to add?
Mark, you're a third generation jeweler. You've obviously got Italian blood in you because of the family thing now. Have you guys got proof of the kids coming in their carry bags yet, or how are you training up the next generation?
I don't think our boys will do jewelry. They're both going to be into bikes.
Don't give them a choice. Make them jewelers.
Yeah. Oh, that's now. But when you're 18, you start changing. A bike's not the important thing in your life. Other things become important. You like to treat the girlfriend and you want to find ways of making money, and, you know, so maybe then they start changing and thinking about it like I did. Look, how I got into it was, like I say, was working weekends. Funny enough, when my friends were working at Edgar's or Woolworths, part-time jobs, you know, doing that sort of thing. So I went to our family store, and my dad straight away said, well, Mark, you do your technical drawing. This lady's wanting a ring like this. Can you draw it? I was, no problem. So I drew it up. And then you had that sort of interaction with older people, you know, and straight away I thought, geez, the only time I get on with older people is when I can actually design something and they're very grateful, and can you change it and add 3 more stones either side, and you do that. And it was fantastic. And I was, you know, because you got a kick out of it, what you were doing, you know, I think that's what sparked the interest. Yeah. And then eventually it was the manufacturing jewelers weren't making it the way I'd drawn and what I'd said. So and with them telling me, no, it's not possible. You can't do it that way. It actually takes 6 hours longer. And now I've misquoted, obviously, because I'd been quoted on saying 5 hours. Now they were telling me, no, it's actually 10 hours to make this piece. So that frustration grew, and I said, no, you know what, I'm going to learn the manufacturing side. I can't handle this, being told that this, what looks simple is actually a difficult thing. Sometimes, yeah, I wasn't correct, but it does take longer, certain things. But yeah, so I went into that side of the business. I didn't really enjoy the wholesale side as much. I did a little bit with my father to try it out. Gold chains, I never did diamond wholesale. But I like the dealing with people one-on-one, and I like the looking at tools overseas and the manufacturing and setting and different ways of doing things. I like that side, designing and, you know, dealing with the people and the end product, I suppose.
Okay, well, we look forward to seeing what the young Kavanagh is doing, and we should just note that Mark is also an avid rider, and he hasn't shown us his left hand yet, but he had a spill over the handlebars a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming right. It's coming right.
Okay, good.
But,
Right. Any more questions?
Now, can I just
Yes,
ask?
I have a question.
Obviously, got a camera in your shop. Do you keep the records of this? I was thinking that if one can start sharing the information of guys trying to sell gold and diamonds to you, with then the small baby steps, we can start doing an impact on lessening it. If people, if we can.
Well, funny enough, I had that conversation with the what do you want to call them? The second-hand
dealer, the cops,
the police in charge of second-hand licenses. I think that's like all second-hand licenses, not just diamond and gold. I didn't actually even realize that when we took out the license that I could have bought second-hand cars or something with it. It actually gave me a license to buy. I thought it was always just gold, and I thought you had to have it with your jeweler's permit. But I said to him, look, well, why can't it be that no jewelers can buy back gold, only if you're using the metal and that same metal leaves? That we go to one body in a town who then sends it to the refinery and gets it refined, and it's all above board. So then there's no point, because there's only one channel. It's through a legal channel. But he just said, look, you're then cutting off how many people who are making a living from buying in second-hand jewelry and gold. So my argument was, I said, well, I mean, how many people? It's not like you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. I said, and at the end of the day, it's probably doing a lot more worse than good. So I wouldn't really call that an industry for employment, That's the thing. So
the other problem
they
is
feel different.
We had a client whose one friend had stolen from her a large sum of jewelry, and he admitted to the cops that he'd taken it and sold it to X person. So they went to X person, and this guy said, no, never seen him before. So the problem is you can melt the stuff down within minutes, and there is no record of it, where you are supposed to keep something for 10 days and the ID of the person. It's not happening.
Yeah, and all the details.
It's a very easy way to just get rid of stolen goods.
Yeah, I even told the police, I said, well, where all the secondhand jewelry is going to, all right? I said, you can put a camera outside. No, we're not allowed to do that because there's public laws involved in it. I said, well, gee, surely you'd be able to see the same characters coming in and then walking out with cash, I mean, come on, then you're in charge of it. No, we're not allowed to do that. But yet you can film everybody at a street corner or a traffic circle, so it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's just different. Sorry, John.
John, you've got yourself muted.
Sorry, beg your pardon. When we go back to the situation in South Africa, and when you have so much ineffective red tape, and Peter has had experience of this, it's much easier to actually go and do things illegally. So if we look at the huge growth in the Zamas, and you're talking about stolen products, and you look at the second-hand shops and the recycling. You look at our own sad experiences with poaching offshore here. And unless we've actually got rules to deal with it, but you then don't enforce. So there's a whole lot of issues that go together with this ineffectual policy. I mean, some people have heard this. I'm at the moment assisting a really decent gentleman at Bakerville to get a 5-hectare mining permit, and it's probably going to cost $100,000 and take a year. And he's going to go and dig with pig and shovel, and it's just crazy. And eventually you almost say to him, you know what, Richard, it's much easier to go and be a Zama, just go and dig. Yeah. And as and you've talked about it, much easier to sell your diamonds on the illegal market. Anyway, other questions? Someone else had a question they were wanting to ask. Sorry, Henny. Any more questions?
Somebody did ask a question. I just wanted to know if it's something like, could you possibly put away a small percentage of your purchases to do the first baby steps in incentivizing a small business in terms of jewelry, and say, look, X% of what I'm going to manufacture per year, I will buy from you, or sort of get up that make that available and out there, so that maybe set a trend there where we can incentivize people to start participating in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
You tried in Hermanus with one
Yeah,
of
I
the
did.
whalers running guys.
Yeah, I set him up with wax, the core wax pieces because he was actually a sculptor. So he showed me some of the pieces he sculpted, all self-taught. So I said, okay, great. Well, bring me whale stuff. I want a whale ring, a whale something. Have a look at what I've done, and then I'm more than happy to cast it up of my money. I'll sell in my shop piece, and I'll give to you, and you sell it at the markets, and all of that. But it just brought back like one piece, and then just not interested at all.
Yeah,
Because
I was thinking of that can actually benefit by saying, putting up a sign that says, I'm supporting 20% of my stuff goes to local industry, and then you can judge. People can apply and come to you and say, look, have you still got some capital that you can put towards this, and then you can decide what exactly what you want to buy and what you want to use, and you could also say to people, I am supporting local.
It would be good.
Something to explore.
That's a great idea, for the precious metals jewelers permit people, and they say, right, once you renew this year, we want to incentivize you this way, and should you do that, we'll facilitate in whatever other way, it can be something like with me, every time you bring in stones from India, you got to pay. It's about 5,000 rand to the diamond board.
6,000 rand by the time you've had it delivered to you, from the courier company being so expensive as well, and what you pay to the diamond board and clearance.
So then they'll say to you, okay, so we're short now on manufacturing diamonds, but what we'll do is, seeing that you're helping there, we'll not nullify that, but bring it down to 1,000 rand, So we'll help you out on your permits that way, or when you're importing, and certain other things. And they'll say, okay, great. Yeah, well, I'll help out more and more and more, And it's just, once you get that ball rolling, like I say, you struggle to think like, why South Africa can manufacture and produce. There's no thing about that. And we have all these, why can't you be as good as all these? I'm not just picking on saying Italy. There's loads of other countries out there that manufacture a lot more jewelry than South Africa, So, I think it's in every industry, really. So it's somehow there's this disconnect.
But you need the policies. Yeah, we need the policies to encourage the entrepreneur, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, you've shown it can be done, but it's taken a lot of hard work and 3 generations. And it's much easier if you, the regulator, to sit in government and earn a salary and not worry about what's going on out there. And that's what we're seeing. It's the other thing is mining people, with no disrespect, are used to cash flows and, money is coming in on a regular basis. People like yourselves don't necessarily know that you're going to pay the bills at the end of the month. And it's the same as a small miner or an explorer.
Yes.
There's risk, and it's a very different sort of mindset to working in a business where there's a salary check in the mail every month.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks guys. That's been fantastic. Are there any last questions? Thanks, Mark and Shelley.
Thank you.
Anyone
Thank
else? Henny?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Leslie?
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, John. Hello.
Okay. You well?
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
Hello. I had a question. Well, it's just a comment. When we went to Brazil, there was an amazing sort of movement there of people selling semi-precious stones in silver. And you went to different places. We went to Sterna in Rio, and also to a place in Sao Paulo called La Jep, where you could buy amazing semi-precious stones with set in silver and not gold. It was tourist stuff, but it was very nice. And I don't know if there's a market for that here.
There is, a lot of, there's actually quite a few the jewelers that are left who do, I think, do a lot of their turnover through semi-precious stones, and even, rubies and sapphires, that sort of thing, but a lot of like peridot and highlights and mix and match,
And they're lovely, I mean,
yeah.
All these stones have their own story and their own romance.
Yes.
And one in particular are the tourmalines. You get amazing tourmalines in this part of the world. Citrines, carnelians, they're glorious, the ones from Botswana. I think of the Scottish jewellery, the agate jewellery that's promoted from Scotland, and some very special pieces that have been made up over the years. One could make jewellery out of the agate pebbles from the diamond beds themselves, from the diamond diggings themselves. Those agates are very special. They could be made in given a story and a romance. The tourists love that, and it's a memento of their. I know it's not the upper end of the industry, but it's bread and butter stuff, and it's something that I think can be a good starting point for young jewelers. Yeah,
I mean, we were just always renowned for South Africa with gold and diamonds. So every tourist come here, oh, this is the land of diamonds and gold, and it's supposed to be half the price, And quickly, late 90s, early 2000s, we weren't half the price of the rest of the world because it's dollar-based. And, rentals, everything started going up, and labor rates. So it became difficult. But you're right, it was that the focus was just on diamonds and gold, that high-end stuff, and not on semi-precious stones, and cheaper stuff that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to manufacture. You don't have to worry so much about wasting a gram of silver compared to wasting a gram of gold now.
I don't know that people. I know people buy investment jewelry, but when they're on a trip or they like a piece that will give them a good memory. And if it's beautifully designed and made, it stands the test of time. Yeah. It really does.
No, that is for sure. And we have seen more of a calling for colored stones. We've, I think, in the last 2 years started doing a lot more.
One of the pictures.
One of our pictures of the little different. That's got a peridot citrine. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's these modern, and then we found like little pieces. That's why it's nice to make it in gold, because it's an upsell. That's the thing. It's, if the piece weighs 1.5 grams, it's a gold peridot ring now. So instead of it a silver peridot ring, which is 150 rand or 300 rand, now it's a 2,000 rand piece.
Yes,
that sort of thing.
Yes.
And then people are going, wow, it's a precious thing.
The time that you spend and put into it, you do need that return. But it's just to get the ball rolling, to get the enthusiasm for that type of jewelry.
Well, that's why we're trying to back for all sides and doing silver with the stones, and we're doing the gold with the stones, and then the diamonds, and yes. So you're trying to do a bit of everything. So I don't have time to do watches as well, and this and antique, and they're all different segments. That's the thing. But you're right. That's where we're heading to. So it's the silver with, my dad even told me, he said, you try and do silver with the diamonds. More upmarket pieces. Other guys have done it with very plain pieces. He said, make it beautifully, but not expensive. It's a real, like a salt and pepper, included diamonds. He said, but it's a lovely piece. And then you do that, and it's, priced to go. They've got diamonds from Africa. So.
Yes, I believe you can get indium silver, which doesn't tarnish, and that gives it a lovely bright effect.
That's it with
okay, last question.
Leslie, have you been to Kavanagh's?
No, Leslie's in Durban, but she's coming to visit us sometime, Henny.
Mark, I must tell you, I live up the road from Glenwood.
Up the road from Glenwood, okay. That's how I went there till the end of Standard 9. Right.
What year were you there? What year were you there?
It was 1987, I think, to 91.
Well, really? You must know my son. My sons went to Glenwood. Gordon and Duncan Turner.
does ring a
Don't
bell.
know if you remember.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
connect the two of you.
I think they were into rugby and that. Yeah. I'm sure.
Don't
Yeah, under
play
Mark
cricket.
Maher, he was the
That's right.
lovely. Sheesh, those were the years. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great years.
Okay, any more questions? Henny, are you gone?
Thank you very much, everybody. We see you next week.
Yeah, and
Thanks a
we'll
lot.
Great. Thank you.
and we'll distribute your presentation to everyone and also get you onto YouTube, Mark, so you can use it as a marketing tool.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Thanks
Thanks,
very much.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a lovely
Thanks,
day.
everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.